Привет! My name is Vlada Vitrova and this is the second part of the video discussing women in drag. What is the hardest thing about being a woman in drag? I will talk about two things here. The first one is having to prove that you are worthy, which really sucks. Because yes, we are worthy, but this is not something exclusive from the drag scene. This is something that women face all their lives, everywhere, in all kinds of communities and places. We have always to prove that we are as worthy as men. If people don't see you as worthy as men, then it is a problem of these people and not your problem. So don't waste time on that. The second point is the fact that we do not get the same recognition as men do. Just take a look at whichever of those list websites and you are going to see 10 European drag queens to take a look at, 20 drag queens who are changing the way we see beauty and whatever. Like 90 or 100% of all the drag queens in those lists are men. If they want to talk about women, they will make a separated list. It's like women in drag. And this is really stupid because drag is about blurring gender. And if you judge a drag artist taking into consideration the gender of this person out of drag, then you are not understanding what drag is about, right? So that sucks, and we don't get the same recognition either inside the scene or outside it. We are always seen as something exotic, as a subgenre of the thing, which is not true. And we have to change this. Is it wrong or less talented for a woman in drag to do makeup that's a little bit softer? Let's understand something. Drag is not about makeup. Makeup is a part of drag, but that's not all drag is about. Today with the whole Instagram culture, we tend to see the two things as necessarily connected, but it's not like that. Makeup is just a part of drag, an important part, but still just a part. And I think that from the moment that you feel comfortable with that makeup and that makeup fits your character and your persona, wear it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I will just give you some examples from my friends and people I know in Brazil who are women and they do drag and they do not look as clowny as I do. You can take a look at Taki, you can take a look at Audrey, you can take a look at Karin Noleto, you can take a look at Morana Evermore. They are all amazing drag queens with soft makeup. And the thing is, people will criticize your makeup whichever way you are doing. Like if you wear makeup as mine, which is very strong and very clowny, people will come to you saying, "Oh my god, you look like Trixie Mattel. Oh, why do all the women in drag try to look like Trixie Mattel?" And if you try to do drag makeup a little softer, people will be like, "Oh, you look just like a regular woman, but with just tiny bit more of makeup." So people are going to criticize this anyway, so do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Don't you think that the drag scene is offensive to women, especially because it reinforces feminine competitivity? That's a hard word. I think that yes, and I think that no. I think that yes, the drag scene is misogynistic sometimes. And no, I don't think that this is because of drag. I think this is because there are men in the scene. And whichever environment you go that is male-dominated environment, there will be a lot of misogynistic things going on. So this is not something just about drag. It's not the concept of drag that is misogynistic. What is misogynistic is men doing drag, reinforcing stereotypes. For example, saying, "Oh, you're not pretty because you are not thin." Or saying things like, "Oh, I'm so thin with this long blonde hair, I look so girly." Or saying fishy or this kind of things. This sucks because when you are a woman, you grow up hearing from all the society and all the media and everybody in school that you should be like that, thin with long straight blonde hair, especially if you're born in the 2000s. There was this thing about straight hair. So if you're doing drag by reinforcing a gender stereotype, that doesn't even make sense. So I think that's why we need more women in the drag scene, so that this kind of misogynistic behavior can be called out and can gradually stop. So yeah, there is one of the reasons why there should be more women doing drag. What do you think about heterosexual women doing drag? I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because drag is about gender performance and not about sexuality performance. Of course, in the LGBT community, especially because of historical reasons, these two things have always been discussed together somehow. But it is possible to perform gender non-conformity regardless of your sexuality. And this is also for men. I don't see myself, absolutely any problem on that. And I saved the best for last. Aren't women in drag doing some sort of cultural appropriation? No, and I will try to explain why by giving another example that is not about gender but about ethnicity, because it might be clearer. Okay, so let's imagine some sort of social hierarchic pyramid where you have white people here on the top and you have people of color here on the bottom. So you see there is this movement going on. People here on the top oppressing people on the bottom so that they stay here. And they can do that by appropriating cultural traits of cultural expressions of this group down here as a way to keep themselves on the top, either commercially or intellectually, okay? But from the moment that people down here start to occupy spaces from the people up here and start to use the cultural expressions of the people up here, what they are actually doing is, hey, we exist. Look, we are here. We are sharing spaces with you. We are sharing communities with you. Take a look at us. So you see, this thing is going on over and over and over, and then the people down here, they start to, in a way that in an utopic future, there will be no pyramid anymore. So this thing here is cultural appropriation, but this thing here, it's cultural subversion. So let's take a look at the gender social pyramid. Okay, for the sake of the didactics, I will be very binary here. I'm so sorry for that, but I'm just trying to explain everything in the easiest way possible. Okay, so let's talk about men and women. So in this so-called pyramid of social hierarchical powers of gender, we have men on the top and we have women here down there. So from the moment that women start to occupy mostly male-dominated places, we are doing actually the same thing. We are like, hey, we exist. We are here. Take a look at us. Come on. We are out there. We are not passive beings that you have in your community to call divas, to call inspiration. We are not that. We are active beings, and we want to be active in scene. We want to do something. We want to do drag. We want to perform. We want to do whatever. So it's not appropriation, it's subversion, because we are already down here, hierarchically, socially speaking. Okay? So if you say that women are culturally appropriating drag, your premises are wrong already for two reasons. The first one, gender is not a culture. And it's culturally determined, but it's not a culture. And the second one, as I say, you have to take the social hierarchical powers into consideration. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to talk about cultural appropriation at all. Okay? I hope it's clear now. Thank you very much for watching the second video. Again, if you have any sort of questions, of comments, of ideas for my next videos, if you want me to do some sort of tutorial on something or wigs or whatever, just write me, just tell me. I'm writing it down and taking everything into consideration. Subscribe to the channel, please. And we see ourselves in a week with a video about why do I have a Soviet character. Spoiler alert, it's not because of Katya.